Hi, I'd like to call the special meeting of the Ross Valley Sanitary District for August 21st, 2024 to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Director Meggs.
Yes, here.
We need everybody's mic on. Thank you.
Yes, here.
Director Meggs.
Put it
Director Penn.
near your
I
mouth.
didn't hear my name. Is that my name? Yes, I'm here.
Director Stella.
Here.
Director Gaffney.
Present.
Director Borstein.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now we shall adjourn to closed session. I'd like to adjourn us, bring us back into open session, reconvene to open session. That's the word I'm looking for. We have nothing to report. I'd ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Wait, do we have the people that are appearing for one of our agenda items?
This is a very short meeting.
Christina just told me there was no public.
Okay, so yeah,
No.
somebody moved to approve.
I move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Now we have time for public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board tonight? Matters not on the agenda. Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to item 8, committee and representative report out. Finance committee, Tom, do you want to report on our meeting?
We had a good session. We didn't have too many items, but we reviewed the year-end preliminary financials. Very complete. And it's interesting, we get a conclusion by staff that the district is in excellent financial condition. We like that. But just from all indications, we're doing very well and quite a good document. So we're getting really excellent financing reports. And then we went over the public sewer expansion project, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, you reviewed the 2 items on the agenda tonight. Central Marin Sanitation Agency.
Sure. We first off, we had a resolution for Chris Fenton, who's leaving after many, many years. He was a great employee. It's very sad to see him go, except he's happy to go. So then we had a board secretary nomination, and we nominated and voted Mary Silla to be the board secretary. We authorized the general manager to enter into a centrifuge dewatering system pre-purchase agreement with Flotweg for about $1.5 million. By pre-purchasing the equipment, it makes it a lot easier to manage the installations of those systems because you don't have to come up with 9 different proposals. You know what the machine is, you know where it's going to fit, you know how it's going to work. He kind of explained the dewatering system to us, which basically is it's a huge machine which circulates very quickly, and it's at a bit of a tilt so the water comes out and we're left with solids. The old one is about 24 years old, and they're expected to last about 20 years. We did look at a nutrient removal alternative evaluation and facilities plan project. And we did award professional services agreement to Corello Engineers for consulting services on that. As the board should know, the Bay Area sanitation agencies have been told they must remove their nutrients on our outflow. Our nutrients create bloom, algae bloom, which in some ways is not all that unhealthy, except it's extremely unhealthy for the fish because it takes all the oxygen. So when that happens and there's an algae bloom, we lose a lot of fish, and that's not what we do for a living.
Did you get a cost estimate of the?
This is the beginning of the beginning.
Right.
And we don't know where it'll fit and all that. And then the Oak Hill apartment site continued hydrogen peroxide use. The recommendation is to review the hydrogen peroxide use action plan, considering hiring Corello Engineers to perform a feasibility study and provide direction to the general manager as appropriate. We provided the direction to not do anything at this time.
Thank you. And I would add that the Carollo Engineering nutrient work is going to include a facilities plan. Steve, our general manager, had actually asked me about that specifically. So they have a lot of things they're going to be responsible for, including possibly looking for grant funding for the work ultimately. So it's a big scope of work that they have to do. Thank you, Doug. Verbal report by general manager. Felicia, will you be handling that?
Yes, thank you, President. So I can take that item tonight. There are about 5 items I'd like to update the board on this evening. The first is LAFCO reached out to RBSD. They are performing their municipal services review with the Central Marin wastewater agencies, and we've answered basically a 10-part questionnaire. Questions such as, our budget, our sewer service charges, CIP projects, system flows, a number of SSOs over the past 5 years or so. Looking back, if you recall, the last MSR that LAFCO conducted was, I think, in 2018 or so, 2019, and they try to do those once every 5 years. So we have participated in their questionnaire for our district. I think Jason Freed, the executive director, maybe reported to the board at one point that they would be working on these MSRs for the wastewater agencies in Central Marin and probably have those MSRs completed by the end of this calendar year, I think was what he had targeted. So wanted to give you an update on that. There's an update at Larkspur Landing. The city of Larkspur last night held a planning commission meeting to consider their housing element, general plan update, and final EIR. I understand that the meeting went fairly long. Riley Hurd and Bryant Sparkman both attended and reported back to Steve and to me that it was it sounded like a very animated meeting. Maybe I'll use that term for Larkspur residents. But the planning commission ultimately sounds like they will be recommending approval to the city council, and their next meeting is scheduled for September 4th. So we'll look forward to getting that. Yeah. Moving through the process. Sorry, Tom, did you have a question?
Yeah, the Larkspur Landing process wasn't a problem.
No, not specifically called out, except it seems like most of the development activity that's controversial within the city of Larkspur is on the west end of the city. So it sounded like there might have been one project in particular over where the Lucky Market was on
Across from the theater.
Yeah, Magnolia and Dougherty. Right. So I think that site might still be in flux, but as far as our site at 2000 Larkspur Landing, I'm happy to report that we're pleased with the progress that's happened with the general plan and housing element process. So more to come on that in September, and then we'll also be planning to present some next steps on Larkspur Landing activity for the board later in the year. The other property that the district has an update on, of course, is the 2960 Kerner Boulevard property. We sent a notice of availability to the state HCD, and we were required by law to give them 60 days to hear any interest from other public agencies or affordable housing developers. To date, we haven't received any interest from those types of entities. That notice of availability 60-day period should expire, I believe it's August 27th. So sometime in the next week or so here. And then we will be reporting back to the board on next steps. We have been working very closely still with Joe and Hayden from Newmark, our real estate consultants, and there have been some other entities, not specifically public agencies or affordable housing developers, but other entities who reached out and expressed interest. So again, that will be coming to the board in a future meeting. And two CIP updates for the board. One is the 1111 Anderson Drive genset generator that was awarded, as the board maybe remembers, in June. So just a couple of months ago. And it is scheduled to be installed now and operational by February of 2025. So that project's moving forward quite nicely. And another project of note is the Heather Gardens, the lift station that the district shares with the city of Larkspur over near the Heatherwood Park. The board maybe remembers, that lift station was designed and built by the city of Larkspur and handled both stormwater and wastewater, which has been problematic for the district over the years. And now we're working collaboratively with the city of Larkspur to separate those two infrastructures. And that is out to bid this week. Bids opening on October 3rd. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that concludes the general manager's report. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
I have a question about the generator.
Yes.
It's not going away, is it?
Generator? No, it's on track to be installed here.
Yeah. Tell me just really briefly, what is the plan if it goes out? Because I think it went out recently, right?
Oh, the power? Yeah, the power has gone out a couple of times. And funny enough, so on Anderson, just down the street, is a PG&E facility. I wondered if their power went out when ours.
But we have a backup system, right?
No, we're looking to get one installed. That's what's on track to be installed by February of 2025.
Interim, we have another backup way, right? For our power.
For the building,
Yeah, well, whatever, pumps and
the pumps, yes.
Oh, of course, the pump station,
Talking about
the
the
building.
building.
the building.
well, okay, so we're good. Okay.
Yes, Paul's got the the pump stations with backup generators.
Yes.
Great, thank you, Felicia. Verbal report by board members and requests for future items, including a CASA report out. Well, first of all, any future items
No,
by anyone? Okay, CASA report out.
I'll do a little bit and then maybe Tom can and Pam. So I went on the One Water tour, which was the first thing in the morning on Wednesday. It's out near Salinas, if I remember correctly, but we went on a bus, so I wasn't driving. I'm trying to get a PowerPoint of what they show to people about it, but basically it's a indirect portable reuse. They're pumping it back into the ground, but they've got a lot of stuff going. I have taken some pictures. It was really fascinating. We're all very interested. They're out in the Salinas Monterey area is because I think it was 10 or 15 half an hour drive, something like that. So they're right across from farmland. So, they're able to pump it back into the ground and reuse it that way. And I can't remember the exact amount of water they're recycling, but it's a really advanced plant. I'm going to try on a future RVS at the meeting, get that PowerPoint. I've written to them a couple of times, but I'm not certain they have one, but I would think they would. So that's what I'm going to do. Anyway.
And it's really important there because they're really overdrafting. And so it's a seawater intrusion barrier project, and then they pump it back out for ag. I wanted this on the agenda because we spent some money going to CASA, and actually, 4 of us went, and there's really some interesting things.
3 of us went.
One of the ones that I attended, the CSRMA, which is generally excellent, and Steve and I were sitting in the front, and of course, it was about regulators from the State Water Resources Control Board, and they know him very well. And so we chit-chatted with them before it started, and then they said, gee, our regulations really work because we're just talking to Ross Valley Sanitary District, and let's face it, they were having problems 10 years ago, and we put a cease and desist, and now they were winning. Well, what did they win? And we said the CWEA collection system of the year, and announced it in front of everybody, and that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Then there was one other one on financing wastewater projects, and it was for a disadvantaged area. But the key point is there are grants out there. You can get them, but it takes about 3 years. And so, the way to do it is to pick a project that's got some appeal to it, like CMSA's, your garbage to energy project and the generator thing. But it was very interesting. And there are some other programs, so I really think CAS is valuable. We need to attend as many of the sessions. We should attend every session if we can. And it'd be good if sometimes there's dual sessions that we go to different ones.
That's great.
No, I
Thank
went kind of a blur. I'm not really prepared. But the thing that always gets to me is the scholarships. And these are, everyday kids and it's just a heartwarming feeling. And then people that are retiring from CASA have spent I don't know, decades helping frame and build that organization, which is really top notch now. They have health stuff about PFAS. It's really getting out there more, and it's scary, but they are really honing in on it, and also is the government. So they talked about it, certain ways the government now is going to get involved. And the emphasis this year was collaboration, which was really cool. I think they had the most members. I think it's almost up to 400 that showed up. And I also went to the women's networking breakfast, and it is a hoot. So it's a lot of changes are happening there. So anyway, yes, go. Next year, someone can go for me.
Great.
So I really feel grateful to the district for sending me. I have to say that.
Great, thank you. Item number 11, the consent calendar. Does anyone have anything they wish to remove from consent? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Unanimous.
I highly recommend reviewing the year-end preliminary financials. They're
11C.
really well done.
Yeah.
And thanks to Victor.
All right, item number 12, consideration of granting tentative approval for the public sewer extension permit number 409 to be constructed within 33 Evergreen, Kentfield, California, to extend financial assistance for construction and district fees. Phil Benedetti. He's looking for the button.
All right. So item number 12 before you find board members tonight is the consideration of granting tentative approval for public sewer extension at 33 Evergreen Drive in Kentfield, and also to extend financial assistance for construction and district fees. The history of this project sort of began when they initiated a large remodel project. We had a sewer main that went underneath the garage in their property. Through construction and design and redesign, we had some issues on that pipe that were in their driveway while it was tore up. We realigned the sewer main on their property and rerouted it through in between their to work around their construction footprints. The homeowners installed a new set of stairs and retaining walls that directly conflicted with where our sewer main was. In that process, they damaged our sewer main and did a repair that did not meet district standards. We wouldn't be able to service the pipes because of the way that it was installed. And they were issued a notice of violation to correct the problem. In correcting that, the best option that is available would be for them to realign the sewer main. And that mechanism for that whole process of realigning your sewer main on their property is through a public sewer extension. Their plan is to directional drill just next to where the existing sewer main is. And they would be able to tie into the upstream manhole and then reconnect to the new section of pipe down below that we had just installed. The other portion of the item for this evening is to extend financial assistance. The cost of construction is somewhat unknown at this point. I'm still waiting for final plans before I do a cost estimate to then issue, for them to then issue bonds to their contractor. But I'm guessing that it's somewhere around $50,000 worth of work. It may end up being less. My estimates are usually high, but that is coming on the tail end of their large remodel project, and they have expressed a need for financial assistance. And to cover the construction as well as the district's public sewer extension fees. So that is that's all wrapped up in this one item.
Thank you, Phil. We talked about this at finance, so I feel like Tom and I and Michael, who attended as a public member, understand what's going on here. Yeah, they messed up.
Yep.
And in order to get it all straightened out, they have to spend a good chunk of change, and they're asking for our help. The other thing we noted was that in last year's budget, we had leftover lateral grant and loan funds. This would come in the next fiscal year, but sort of our trend has been to underspend that, which I think is fine. Like I want to be sure we have enough money, but it isn't like we don't have enough money typically to fund such a thing. And so we're going to give them a loan, which they will have to pay back if they do flip this property immediately. And if they don't, then they will pay it back over the course of 10 years. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, with interest. So it's not a giveaway, but it's helping them cash flow wise right now.
I have no objection to that.
You know, I have a question. Are we going to get, so we have a prescriptive easement. Are we going to get a recorded easement now?
Yeah. Yes. So I don't know if I put it in the staff report in the next step. Sorry. Yes. So once their construction is complete, we were already planning to record a new easement for the realignment that we had done in the lower portion of the property. And once they do this, then we're going to have a surveyor come out and
Okay.
create a new legal description and record a proper easement that would show up on a title report and get recorded with the county.
That's great.
So they kind of jippoed in a temporary fix, which wasn't up to our, and we forgive them and lend them the money. But it is a pipeline that was in a bad position, and it serves another home, at least one other, maybe two, isn't that right? It's one for sure.
Yeah, there was one active tap at the top of it, and then there is another tap that we could not confirm as being dead. It was not active at the time that we have videoed it, but it could go to any number of the properties up there. And also the other thing too is if someone expects there to be a sewer main in their backyard along those properties, and they're large enough properties that people may add auxiliary structures or ADUs, and they would want to be able to tie into that. It would be within their rights to tie into that main. So it's, a valuable asset, I would say, to the district at this point, that we wouldn't want to abandon it.
Is it a 2% loan?
The interest rate is the US Treasury rate, and
Plus a half.
I
not like
believe
we're
that's
offering-
around 4% right now.
But this is not like what we did with the septic tanks, right? This is a totally different way to approach it.
The septic to sewer,
Yeah.
those
Similar, like we're giving a
similar interest,
loan grant or
similar loan to the grants for
It's not a
the
grant.
lateral, right, for the loans for laterals, including septic to sewer conversions. I believe those are all 10-year loan terms, and they're
I
all
can, I can help you with that.
Felicia's there nodding.
Yeah, it's a great question, Director Meggs. And very fortunately, Ross Valley Sanitary District had the foresight many years ago. This board implemented the grant program and the lateral, the grant program and the loan program for lateral repairs and replacements. And now, because of that, we have this program in place that we can recommend that the board also apply to other types of infrastructure improvements that assist private property owners and benefit the district's infrastructure, such as you give the good example of the septic to sewer program, which uses the same loan process that's already been established by the district. And so similarly, this loan for the 33 Evergreen improvement project would use basically the exact same mechanism for the district to lend the money and to collect the money as those other two programs that you're familiar with.
It's the 10-year treasury plus 0.5%. So the loan will be just under 4.5% if it was done now.
And it's not gonna harm us then. We have the ability, like if we get a bunch of people coming, oh yeah, I made a mistake. I mean, we can go case by case and
Right.
learn about the amount, and we get someone tomorrow.
Well, it's not unusual at all when we do a lateral grant. Those numbers are right along the lines of some lateral grants. We're not lateral grants. I'm sorry, lateral loans.
Right. The lateral loans tend to be in the range of, upwards to $10,000 easily. And then a few years back, the board increased the lateral loan amount to $25,000 because some of those laterals, the longer the length. And if you'll notice, I think, Phil, the length of this particular pipe is what, 90 linear feet? Is that right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, 90 linear feet.
If I get about 100 feet, I think I had 90 linear feet.
That's a
Yes,
big
what
one.
So
estimated.
it can get quite expensive, and the terrain is, we all know in Ross Valley can also be challenging and add to the cost. And I think what Phil was, alluding to earlier is when we do estimates, we base those on, the public contract and prevailing wage estimates. But we think, we know, right, that the private homeowners will get a little bit better price probably because they don't have to be consistent with prevailing wage law. Any event, whatever cost they come up with, and we'll encourage them to get a couple of different estimates. The district's in a very good position to offer them some financing. It's a win-win situation for us. Otherwise, we'd wind up in a conflict with this property owner, forcing them to perform these repairs, or, by force account, our position would then be to have to go onto their private property and do those repairs for them, basically, and then lien their property, which is a kind of an uglier way of arriving at the same solution.
Fairfax. I'm not gonna say who, what, or where, but we're gonna grant a certificate for the sewer.
Could you get your microphone, Pam?
Oh, can you?
They weren't gonna grant a certificate of the sewer. They had done a lot of remodeling. Well, it wasn't done right, and it was backing up and leaking everywhere. And they got into a massive fight, sort of, and they finally gave in. But you're right, it became a legal thing, and the struggle, and you have to do this, or we're not going to give you the certificate. So I agree with you. This is a win-win.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Any questions or discussion?
Is that a
more?
motion there?
Sure, I'll take a motion, please.
I would move to grant tentative approval for public sewer extension permit number 409 to be constructed within 33 Evergreen Drive, Kentfield, and to extend financial assistance for construction and district fees.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
You.
Thank you, Phil.
All right, and now we go on to informational items, performance report. It's early.
Yeah.
It's
good
early to be
evening,
seeing
everybody.
you, Paul. All right.
It's odd to see everybody in their new seats. Good though.
Is this the first?
Yeah. I was
Okay.
always there and there. I was closest to the kitchen.
Anything you want to highlight for us, sir?
Yeah, thank you for your time. First of all, I'd like to point out that July was a no spill month.
I
so
saw
first
that.
one down. That's good.
Wait a
news,
minute,
good
no
news.
spills year to date,
Okay, well,
all zeros on page 18 and 19 and 21, all zeros.
yes, sir.
Fabulous.
Let's hope to keep it going that way. The pump crew, if you guys know, we're working over on Riviera Circle, lift station 31 and 32 is where a lot of the construction's going on right now. Excuse me. Staff have been working with the contractor over there, utilizing the new large VACCON. We dewatered the pit while they cut into the force main to tie in the new pump station connection. So we've been spending some time over there. And while the staff were over there, they've decommissioned all the electrical panels and we're on a full bypass pumping that the contractor is responsible for right now. So we took that time to go into the electrical cabinets and take out whatever good equipment that's still we can utilize at other stations and put it back into inventory for emergency spare parts rather than have the contractor haul it all off. It's radio equipment, some SCADA stuff, stuff we can utilize down the road. So do a little double use work out there while we're there. Line maintenance crew had been working out. They've been doing a lot of work. They were out over at Marin Catholic School cleaning trunk lines. We're almost working in the next month or so. We'll have completed all the trunk line cleaning throughout the whole system. They did the 30-inch behind Marin Catholic, working with the school to get access and whatnot. Good collaboration. And then line staff also found over off on Merced Avenue and Fern Lane, there's a 14-inch sewer over there. While we were cleaning, started bringing back a lot of gravel, started investigating a little more, found that the 40-inch line was 80% plugged with rock. So it was kind of an all hands on deck. Luckily there was no spill, but staff got out there. We found a large defect in the pipe that rats were actually pushing debris into the main. So we're patching that hole up, but it was a really good catch. It could have been a really bad scenario in a 14-inch line. There was, I think, about 4 yards of gravel they pulled out of that line. It was a lot.
Wow.
So a really good catch. It's good to see the line crew up to date and keeping up with their cleaning schedule. So it's really good news. The repair crew, we keep saying this effort to reduce high frequency line. We've been really working hard. July, they completed 47 point repairs throughout the district, fixing a number of defects that were causing high frequency lines. We're getting to the point in October where the CCTV crew, again, as we explained in May, instead of cleaning those lines at a 6-month interval, we're going to go and CCTV them to see what they really look like instead of going and cleaning them for no reason. So in October, it's looking like hopefully almost 100 lines might be able to come off of our high frequency cleaning. So we're really working hard to do that. And Repair's doing a really good job out there. Really fighting to make sure we can clean up these lines so we can pull them off and they're good enough condition to say, we have the knowledge and the data driven to go ahead and take them off so that, if there is anything that comes down the pike down the line, at least we can say we did our due diligence no matter what. So it's really good to see them out there doing all that hard work. And that's a lot of patches for a month. I think that's one of the highest numbers I've ever seen since I've been here. So really good. And then also condition assessment. As we know, we're always looking for some of our lost nodes. We had about 200-ish at one point. We're really chiseling that down. But the CCTV has gone out and GPS and located another 43 in the month of July. So these give us real clear access points for mapping for when the fields are in the crew. And then once they GPS them, they're also using a physical fiberglass marker and easement so staff can find them at night with a flashlight. We're not searching around in the bushes. So it really helps the overall service of the district and making sure we can access our nodes and maintain our system. Those are some of the highlights I have for you. If you have any questions
I
or
make a comment.
yes, sir.
The repairs of 46 a month was great. That's a good month with localized pipe repair.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's great.
Mhm.
Did you take a look at our flow numbers for 8 months? I think this is for 13 months. But for 8 months, we averaged 41.6% of the CMSA flow. And then for the wet weather months, we averaged 5 months, 47.6. And we used to be in the low 50s, remember? So, it inches down. It's a tough.
A lot of
process
that
to
great
reduce that
capital
flow.
work that Phil and Steve and everybody here and you guys are approving are really helping. And these patches help with infiltration. The lateral enforcement program is helping with infiltration and debris. And so all that in the end is really going to help, especially with our with the strength and flow too, because not only are they getting us on the flow, but then the strength, if there's extra debris that's coming down the
Right.
lines, dirt, all that adds into our strength calculation. So it really does help.
And all of that matters greatly in how much money we are owed to have to pay CMSA.
Mhm.
So instead of paying 50%, we're paying, 41, 42 for most of the year. And then, some of the wet weather months a little worse, but we'll work on that too.
Wet weather really has an impact. And so we're up in the high 40s, what we pay.
I think also our education,
Mhm.
even our videos, they're good. They're just good. They get to the point. They're friendly. So everything we can do to help it's really showing all of it.
Yeah, I know. And we're trying to work on some more outreach for hotels, medical facilities, restaurants when we're noticing grease and that kind of stuff. So it does help. Door hangers, we're printing out a little more of those as we go to make sure we're giving out the correct information and how to reach us, what we can do to help and all that.
Yeah, no, good. Excellent.
That's great. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
As always.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. Well, if there's nothing more, I think we are adjourned until September 18th. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.